Have you ever wondered who the Moabites were, those mysterious characters who keep appearing in the Bible? They were more than just Israel's enemies. They played a crucial role in key moments of Scripture, and their choices and conflicts reflect dilemmas that many of us still face today. Imagine a people with a controversial origin who faced epic battles, formed unlikely alliances, and got involved in stories of betrayal and redemption. And what if I told you that by understanding the journey of the Moabites, you might find valuable answers and lessons for your own daily struggles and challenges? In this video, we're going to explore the secrets of this fascinating people, discover how they shaped biblical history, and understand how their story resonates even today, offering us unexpected insights about faith, choices, and God's purpose in our lives. Stick around until the end and get ready to see the Moabites like never before, and to transform the way you view today's challenges. The Moabites, a people repeatedly mentioned in the Bible, have their origins tied to a narrative that blends tragedy and continuity. Descendants of Lot, Abraham's nephew, they were born from a controversial and intriguing episode after the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. The land of Moab, where they settled, was located east of the Dead Sea in a mountainous region that posed both geographic and political challenges. This strategic location meant that the Moabites were always on the radar of the Israelites, with whom they shared borders and a history full of ups and downs. In the biblical context, the Moabites played a pivotal role. From Genesis to Judges, they appear as a people who both confronted and cooperated with Israel. In the book of Numbers, for instance, we find the story of Balak, king of Moab, who tried to hire Balaam to curse the Israelites, showcasing the complex relationship between these two nations. In Deuteronomy and Judges, we see episodes of tension and conflict, but also surprising interactions that highlight the multifaceted role of the Moabites in the scriptures. Culturally, the Moabites were distinct from the Israelites, especially in their religious and social practices. The Moabite religion centered around the worship of Chemosh, a god to whom they attributed both blessings and curses. Their traditions and rituals often clashed with those of the Israelites, who saw the Moabites' practices as a reflection of idolatry and a negative influence to be avoided. Yet it's fascinating to note that despite these differences, there were moments when the two peoples intermingled, exchanging cultural influences and even familial ties. The conflicts between the Moabites and Israelites are among the most intriguing episodes in biblical narratives. One of the most notable moments occurs when Balak, king of Moab, notices Israel's growing strength and tries to undermine their progress by hiring Balaam, a pagan prophet, to curse them. But in an unexpected turn of events, Balaam, instead of cursing, blesses the Israelites repeatedly, showing that God's power transcends human intentions. This event, described in Numbers 22 to 24, reveals the constant tension and attempts at political and spiritual manipulation that characterize the relationship between these peoples. Additionally, the book of Judges brings to light a period of oppression and direct conflict when Eglon, the king of Moab, subjugates Israel for 18 years. However, this dominance is surprisingly ended by Ehud, a left-handed Israelite judge who uses his unique skill to assassinate Eglon and liberate Israel. This dramatic episode not only highlights the hostility between the two nations, but also shows how strategy and cunning played a crucial role in their interactions. Characters like Eglon and Ehud became symbolic representations of the political and military clashes between these two peoples. The consequences of these conflicts were deep and multifaceted. Politically, they created constant instability in the region, making lasting alliances difficult and generating cycles of vengeance and resentment. Spiritually, these confrontations revealed a greater battle for fidelity to the God of Israel, where the beliefs and religious practices of the Moabites often clashed with divine commandments. Thus, every interaction between the Moabites and Israelites was a test not just of strength, but also of faith, revealing the complex web of motivation and desire that defined their destinies. Despite all the conflicts and tensions, there is a remarkable twist in the story of the Moabites that leads us to rethink their image in the biblical narrative. The story of Ruth. A humble Moabite, Ruth marries an Israelite, and after his death, she decides to follow her mother-in-law Naomi back to Bethlehem, affirming her faith and loyalty not only to her family, but also to the God of Israel. This act of courage and devotion results in her inclusion in the messianic lineage, becoming an ancestor of King David and eventually Jesus Christ. This story is a powerful reminder of how divine grace can transform even the most unlikely characters. Ruth's inclusion in God's plan offers valuable lessons about acceptance, redemption, and transformation. Despite being from a nation considered an enemy, Ruth is welcomed by a new people, showing that redemption is accessible to all who turn to God with sincerity. Her journey challenges the prejudices and cultural divisions of her time and reminds us that love, faith, and devotion are paths to spiritual transformation. Her life is a testament that God can use anyone from any background to fulfill his eternal purposes. The legacy of the Moabites in biblical history is therefore more than just the record of a people who lived in conflict with Israel. It's proof that amidst disputes and differences, there is always room for redemption and change. The Moabites left an unexpected and significant mark, showing that even when everything seems lost, God's plan always finds a way to manifest. And perhaps it is precisely in this divine surprise that we find the deepest lessons for our own journey of faith. The story of the Moabites, with all its contradictions and twists, teaches us much about faith and obedience. By observing how they interacted with the people of Israel, we realize that true faith is tested in the most difficult moments, when choices seem complex and consequences uncertain. Just as Ruth chose to follow a new path alongside Naomi, even without guarantees of prosperity or safety, we are invited to make choices based on our trust in God's plan, knowing that He always has a greater purpose. Furthermore, the narrative involving the Moabites is a constant reminder of the power of forgiveness and grace. Even though they were often Israel's enemies, there were moments when individual Moabites like Ruth found acceptance and inclusion among the Israelites. This shows us that God's grace knows no cultural or ethnic barriers. We can apply this lesson in our daily lives by choosing to forgive those who have wronged us, giving a chance for reconciliation and healing for ourselves and others. Finally, this story challenges us to reflect on how we deal with our own conflicts and challenges. Are we open to change, to embracing the unexpected, just as Naomi embraced Ruth? Are we willing to overcome our differences and seek reconciliation where there is conflict? The legacy of the Moabites shows us that even in the midst of conflict, the possibility of redemption and transformation is always present, as long as we are willing to open our hearts to the lessons God has to teach us. Throughout this video, we've delved deep into the intriguing story of the Moabites, discovering how their actions and choices still echo today, offering valuable lessons on faith, redemption, and transformation. Now, take a moment to think. How do these teachings apply to your life? Are there situations where you need to reconsider your own decisions, forgive someone, or open yourself to new possibilities? Leave your comment below. Your perspective might inspire others. If this video made you think differently, don't stop here. Check out the previous video on 7 types of people who won't be saved by clicking on the end screen and see if you're really on the right path to spiritual salvation. That video might bring even deeper and more surprising insights to your journey. Shall we continue learning and growing together?